Okay, so my name is Kelvin Umechuku, co-founder.
Bumper CEO. Bumper CEO. The only person that has both an organizer tag and a sponsor tag. Please clap for him. Nah, he's actually...
All right. I lead partnerships for DevFest Lagos, and we have cool people, great companies that have made this possible. And I'm going to be calling a few of them on the stage in the next few minutes. But before that, we're also going to have a few keynotes from very important persons. And I'm going to be calling up the first person. This person is from a unicorn. Can you see the unicorn? Who is the unicorn? I cannot hear you. Bumper. All right. So I'm going to be calling up the head of engineering of the digital ecosystem and web acquiring at InterSwitch. He manages the engineering teams that have been building products to simplify commerce and also to support innovators. So please put your hands together. Actually, jam your hands together for Abdul Hafiz Ibrahim. Awesome. So please take notes. They are going to be showing you tools they have built for you. Either you're starting out as a developer or that you've been in the game for very long years. You need to learn how to use these tools to build your own products because they are basically, they've built a lot of things to support us through our development journey. Well, to you, because I know they develop again. All right. Thank you so much, Hafiz. Over to you.
Hi, guys. Okay, fine. Hi, everyone. Hope you guys are having fun today. It's nice to see everyone together. Not on Microsoft Teams or Zoom having this. Sorry, just 1 second. My slides are coming up. Okay. So just a brief intro. My name is Hafiz. Government name Abdul Hafiz, but you can call me Hafiz. I lead engineering at one of the business lines in InterSwitch. And what I do on a day-to-day is we try to build products that help businesses and also innovators like yourselves. Before I start, sorry, just a show of hands. How many people know InterSwitch here? Oh, wow. Okay, that was awesome. So let me ask another question. How many people think they've used the product or service that used an InterSwitch API this week? Okay, smaller, but the actual number should be around 80 or 90% of you guys. So if you use an ATM today, you use a POS device, you take a loan, you use your card online, there's a 90% chance that whatever service you're using has interacted with an API that InterSwitch provides. So I'm here today to show you how we are planning to expose that to you guys so you guys can build awesome solutions and create the next unicorn. So COVID that's been interesting for us. So the same way it shut down physical activities, we've seen an uptick in how people have embraced the digital. And I think things like airtime being cheaper and data being cheaper has also improved. So we've seen a drastic increase in how our APIs are being consumed. So this is just like an average interaction for APIs that we see at InterSwitch. And you can see how it's growing, and we only expect it to keep on growing further. So API is the currency of agility. So, it's one thing for you to have an idea, but if you don't have the tools to build on it, then your idea is just there. So not just us, so a lot of people in the industry have built APIs to simplify things for you. So all you just need to do is think about your product, think about how you want to build a nice social app that allows people to send money to their friends. You don't necessarily have to go to all the banks to connect to process cards or do transfers, stuff like that. It enables innovation clearly because we've seen, a lot of you have seen news around how companies are improving, and you see a lot of nice, funky products every day. There are a couple of them at the booth there too that are quite impressive. But the key to growth is you guys. Sorry, forget me that I'm wearing trad. I also write code, so it's all of us together. So we are the ones that build the products that a lot of people use. Okay, so for the past year or thereabout, we've been obsessing to try and see how we can take what we've built and release it to people like you to build stuff that is going to drive the next set of growth for the community. So we've simplified our products, we've built a developer console, we've also created a support tool for us to get feedback from you guys and API documentation. Okay, so this is just to give you a sense of the numbers that we see at InterSwitch today. So at the bottom there, you can see we have 250 plus institutions across Africa. We've got 180,000 plus businesses that we support. We've got 600 plus API partners that we are trying to make. I mean, we're like 2,000 here. Ideally, we want to see that be 2,000 plus by January or February. So these are the API products that we have today. We have products on KYC, lending, obviously payments, value-added services, and issuing. These are some of the fintechs we power today, but our aim is to get you guys to be the next fintechs. Okay, so just to speak to some of the products we have. So we have KYC products that you can use to power your KYC side of your businesses. We've got lending that you can use to build interesting products. So if you wanted to build credit scoring, imagine you had access to transactions that we see and you can use it to profile your customers better. We've got omni-channel payments. So the same way we've done online payments, we've actually taken it to the physical too. So everything you can do on any website that has an InterSwitch payment gateway, you can also do on an InterSwitch POS. So you can collect money, paying using transfer. You can collect money using USSD. You can collect money using anything pretty much, because we have Android POSs. It's at the back there if you want to see, that you can build literally any solution on. We've got value-added services. So if you wanted to resell airtime, bill payments to your customers or SMS, we've got issuing too, where you can generate an API to take cash from an ATM. Okay, this is just to show you what we have. So this is what the beginning of our API marketplace is. We're going to be working hand in hand with developers and also partners to try and simplify our products, but also expose products from our partners to you guys to use to build whatever awesome solutions you want to build. So that's the website there, developer.interswitchgroup.com. We've also taken the effort to rewrite our documentation from scratch. So we've got a lot of feedback over the couple of years around issues people had. And there's also the question of accessibility. My first exercise, a lot of people didn't even know. You might have used the POS, you didn't know that service came from InterSwitch. But when you go there now, you can see all the APIs there, and access to it is pretty much free. You can integrate as soon as possible and play with the sandbox that we have. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we also have a community to encourage conversations. If you wanted to give us feedback on our APIs, or you wanted to partner with us, or see what next we're trying to do, please come on board our Slack community. Okay, the last thing I will do, let me pause. Let's let you guys take a breather first. So over the last couple of years, we've been building amazing products. We've empowered businesses, but we also think a developer is actually a key partner in this journey. So what we have done is we are trying to create avenues for you guys to make money. So I'm sure a lot of you probably have people saving your name as Ade WordPress or Olu Magento or Web Guy. Yeah, I have a couple of people on my phone as Web Guy. So imagine you built a website for someone, a school or church or mosque on your street, and every time they are doing a transaction, we give you money. So what this means is we share a percentage. So the money InterSwitch makes from the transaction, we share with you. So as you can literally be making money as you sleep. And okay, so this is what it looks like. So we give you a fancy dashboard where you can see all the people you've referred And as they are making money every day, the percentage we're giving you, you're getting in your account. So you're creating a source of income, or as some people will say, you're getting something huge every day, just sleeping and waking up. So this is what it looks like. And to sign up, you just go to business.quickteller.com. So it's a period of 3 years. We'll be sending emails over the next couple of days about it. But to sign up, you can just go to business.quickteller.com. And it's literally you earn money as you sleep. So I think it's an awesome thing for you guys to jump on. Okay, that will be the end of my speech. So if you want to see more... Sorry. So if you want to see more about the API offerings we have a booth just there, and we're also doing a talk by 3:55, I think. And we also have free swag. So please come and join us as we build a prosperous Africa together. Thank you.
Dreams of diamonds and gold. All the different faces, ones I used to hate, I miss them now that they're gone.
All right, please, let's put our hands together again for Abdul Hafiz and InterSwitch. Is anybody here interested in Web3? Yeah, let me just see your hands up. See their hands. Be them. All right. Okay, I'm going to be calling up the next person. This is Protocol Labs. Protocol Labs is an open source R&D organization based in SF. It's on a mission to help push humanity forward by building the next generation of the internet. Now, these people are focused on the Web 3.0 space, and they are helping to decentralize the web and provide storage for the web. So I'm going to be calling on Charles Freeborn. He's a technical content strategist and technical writer at Protocol Labs. Please put your hands together for Charles.
Before he starts, please use the hashtag. It's very necessary. Thank you. You have the stage.
Can you verify the slide is up? All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Hello. All right, please say hello to the person seated by your right or left. Just a quick introduction. My name is Charles Freeborn. I am a technical content strategist for Protocol Labs. I'm focused on the IPFS and Filecoin projects, right? So by being a technical content strategist, what I basically do is technical writing and developer advocacy focused within the African continent. So I recently transitioned from Web 2.0 into the Web 3.0 space. You should clap now. All right, so that's me. I used to carry dreads. That's me, Charles Freeborn, technical content strategist for the IPFS and Filecoin project at Protocol Labs. You can find me on Twitter at Charlie Coates. I'm going to be speaking on building the next generation of the internet. So we'll start with the invention. All right, so I was telling you a story about during the early years of my life, as a teenager, sometime in 2001, I first got my first Yahoo account. The first email I actually had a Y2K attached to it. Is there anyone here who probably had an email account that had the Y2K attached to it? Why are you all making me feel like I'm so old? All right, so there was the buzzword around Y2K. We had transitioned from 1999 into 2000, and there was this thing about systems being Y2K compliant. And so as teenagers back then, we jumped in on the bandwagon, and then we had email accounts set up with Y2K. So that's something like Charles Y2K at yahoo.com. Charles, Yahoo was just probably the in thing back then. And interestingly, one of the major high points about the internet or the web back then was the fact that it was static, which we now refer to as Web 1.0, right? It was basically static. So it was the early internet. Web 1.0 spanned between the early 90s to early 2000s, right? So these websites were static, required that if you needed to set up a web page, for example, you had to be really, really, really technical, and your users couldn't really interact with the page, right? It was just basically static. And one other limitation about Web 1 was that we couldn't capture user states, right? Open protocols were built to power Web 1. One of them being HTTP, you had SMTP, you had FTP, right? So if you needed to, let's say, upload a website, for example, or host a website, you had to go through FTP. Anyone here ever did that? All right, so we had organizations that were actually built on top of that FTP, like UG. Organizations that had to, they became like a hosting platform, right? But there were limitations with Web 1. One of the limitations had to do with the fact that, one, we couldn't capture user states. By this, I mean you couldn't tell if a user had visited your website or not. You couldn't also get user data or user information. So these were some of the limitations. So there were limits to how much we could actually build on top of the web. And then sometime in the mid-90s or thereabouts, Leo Motili from Netscape built the HTTP cookie, which could now use to actually capture user state and user state. So at least we're able to know that a user had visited the website before, right? And because of the shortcomings that we had with Web 1, solutions were now being built to help push the web forward, and then we moved into Web 2.0. Key among Web 2.0, which is what we're currently experiencing, is being, okay, Web 1 was read-only. Web 2 now transitioned into read and write, right? So dynamic platforms, so we're no longer just end users, just being able to just read content. We're also able to now contribute and create content. You agree with me that, so you had the burst in social media. So Web 2 started from somewhere around 2003, 2004 to our current dispensation, where you could literally create and consume content. Agree? Right? So you really didn't even need to be very, very technical to actually work in the Web 2.0 space. And then we had technologies and products that were built around Web 2, leading to massive liberation in people's financial status. So we had products, platforms, technologies like search, social media, payments. Think about it. So you could literally run a transaction, even as I'm talking right now. You could probably just look at a phone online, or maybe you want to buy the latest Apple products or whatever. You could just bring out your card and probably just do that transactions. This because we had technologies and platforms that were now built on top of Web 2. But as beautiful as Web 2 is also, we now started struggling with some form of challenge. What's the challenge with Web 2? One of the major challenges was centralization, control, right? But the web was not actually intended to be that way. The early history of the web had to do with, it was supposed to be decentralized. Everyone should be able to contribute to it. So I refer you to a paper, for example. You had the John P. Palo paper on the independence of the cyberspace. So everyone on the cyberspace is supposed to be a global citizen without borders, without regulations. And so we've transitioned into the D-Web, or which we call Web 3, the decentralizing the web, borrowing from the beauty of Web 1.0, and then the awesomeness of Web 2, and then get back to a decentralized web, which I've tagged as read, write, trustless. By that we mean we wouldn't have to go through too many intermediaries to be able to carry out basic stuffs on the internet. For example, let's say this gentleman on white, let's say this mobile phone you're pressing right now, I kind of like the phone, and I decide to say I want to buy it from you. Let's say you have an online store set up, right? There are a lot of processes that will go through before we actually get to complete a transaction. True or false? One of that process will be, for example, an intermediary bank, right? payment gateway or platforms to be able to verify that I've actually sent you the money, and then you have to now send it back to me. And then, for example, there's something we say in Nigeria, I could probably not get, there's this thing about what you ordered for, or what I ordered for versus what I got. How many of you have been there? Are these people from outer space? So, did you ever get something from someone, like you saw something online, you ordered for it, and by the time it got back to you, you're like, but this wasn't what I ordered for? Anyone can relate? Hey, thank you. You're far too kind. All right, so the central theme around decentralizing the Web3, is that we should be able to verify stuff publicly. And Web3, interestingly, is actually built on top of the blockchain technology. I think I have so much time. So Web3 is you read, you write, trustless, and then there is the concept of ownership, right? And then just like we have the HTTP protocol getting to be one of the core protocols and the foundation upon which the web is currently standing, Web3 also has protocols that are being built on top of it. And proud to say that I'm actually on one of the projects I'm on the project that's actually at the forefront of getting to push the web forward. And this project is actually the IPFS project. So it's actually a protocol like HTTP, but a protocol that is actually dedicated to the Web3 space. And I'm going to wrap up too with storage. I'm currently working as a full-time technical writer and developer advocate, like I'm doing right now, but I never started out to become a technical writer. As it turned out, I just enjoyed writing as a young guy. And I had a blog some couple of years ago. And for some reason, maybe financial constraints or whatever, the domain got expired, and that was just it. So just some few months ago, I was thinking I would love to see what my write-ups are like, right? What was it I wrote? How did I write many years ago? I can't find any of those things that were published on the web anymore. Why? Because the website is down, the contents are off. So think about it, the myriad of information, shared knowledge, and resources that probably have lost to the internet because there are sites that probably went down, or maybe the site's being maintained by just a single individual, and probably this individual had a challenge and couldn't maintain it anymore. So, interesting. Let's clap for the organizers. All right, so, okay, so do you get the gist? So think about it, that we could actually lose a lot of information. Next 10 years, we could probably lose a lot of information if we're unable to preserve humanity's information. The internet is actually one of man's greatest invention. Do you agree with me? Is there anyone, I'm running up, is there anyone here who actually knew of a site he or she used to visit a couple of years ago and is unable to find information about that anymore? Thank you. So, the FICON project, which is what I'm wearing right now, is actually a decentralized storage platform for the web. So FICON is actually a decentralized storage network for helping to preserve the internet's history. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever information you have on the internet, you'll still be able to access them. So you should give me a big hand now. All right, so just in case you want to learn more about IPFS and FICON, I'm going to be having a breakout section where I give a technical presentation about IPFS and FICON. Thank you all so much for your time. You could find our organization on Twitter at FICON. You can also find us IPFS, and just in case you want to show me some love, you could find me on Twitter at Charlie Codes. Thank you all so much.
I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind,
Hello.
you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm waiting now, yeah. This way
alone. All right, please put your hands together again for Charles. Those are for people that are interested in Web3. And now I'm going to be calling Samson Godi. Samson Godi, you know. If you know Samson Godi, put your hands up. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to be calling up Samson Godi, and he's going to be talking in 10 minutes, you know, about community building and open source. And this is basically for the open source trust. Do we have some of them here? People that contribute to open source, or you use any part of open source. You've been using some code. Did you even know that it's open source? Okay. All right, so I'm going to be calling up Samson Godi. Please, let's put our hands together for him.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Samson Godi, and I will be talking about a lot of random stuff. But the plan is to make sure... so I'll be talking about a lot of random stuff, but the plan is to make sure that at the end of the day, you go home happy, right? So first, disclaimer, anything that Prosper or Temuyiwa on Twitter said about any giveaway is false. Please don't come to me. But I actually have a plan, and the plan is, after this talk, I should be able to do something from SourceGraph and also from me. So I'll try to make this talk as interesting as possible. So my name is Samson Godi. I'm here to talk about community and open source. In 2020, we did the Open Source Festival, and the ability for us to bring people together to talk about open source, talk about community, awesome. But then afterwards, COVID happened, and then everybody went back home. And at the end of the day, everybody started talking about, and then Twitter Spaces happened. And of course, I've been doing a lot of Twitter Spaces. But then coming here is important because for me, community is part of who I am as a person. Not just who I am, but also who I am currently. Just like what I said, the plan is to talk about community and also to talk about open source. But like I said, community is part of my growth. My journey is based on community. Where I am right now is based on community. And of course, looking at your beautiful faces is also what community is all about. So I am the director of community relations at SourceGraph. Basically, some of you know it at DevRel. But my job is to make sure that we, as a company, we're able to achieve our goal by supporting the ecosystem. And that's why I'm excited that the organization we're sponsoring DevFest and making sure that jollof rice is available. Aside from my organization, I am the co-founder of Open Source Community Africa, if you've known about the organization, and of course, there's some random things that I do. Basically, like I said, open source is, like I said, part of my journey, but I know a lot of people might be hearing about open source, and what I nearly said, he said, most people here are newly developers. And of course, if you're on Twitter and you're following the Twitter war, you should at some point be hearing either me talking about open source or random people talking about open source. So basically, on a nutshell, open source is things that can be read, modified, shared by others because of its design and code is made publicly. And contributing to open source is something that is very, very vital because that is the opportunity as a beginner or even as an expert to be able to showcase your skills. My current job right now was because I was able to do a lot of open source stuff, and when I had the opportunity to do the interview, my work were literally everywhere. And that's the concept of why open source is very crucial. And there's a famous quote that I like using. Contributing to open source can be a rewarding way for you to learn, teach, build experience in any way that you can imagine. So basically what that thing means is you can go from a mentee to a mentor and then become a developer's advocate or whatever you want to define your career. But you have the power to do as much as you can. Like I said, trying to give an overview. The logo at the right is my organization called Open Source Community Africa. Some of you might know about it. And of course, like I said, my journey has been centered around the community. And that's why I love DevFest, because just like Anedi was talking some things about some programs, I was part of some Google programs that was really, really great. First, the Google Summer of Code is a very interesting program that a lot of you it will make a lot of sense for you to attend. I know they've changed some rules, but when I joined, the point was, as a university student in, let's say, Unilag or Yaba Tech, and you're learning code, the point is for you to go work with an organization, and at the end of the day, they pay you under $7,000. Now imagine they give you $7,000. The first thing, what would you do? If they give $7,000, what would you do? What is the first thing you would do? Huh? Huh? And then they say Japa with 7K. We say what? Go in MacBook. Me, I always go buy Suya. Anyways, Google Summer of Code is a very interesting program that encourages not just to come into open source, but also to earn in open source. And that's one of the most important things here. Google Coding was when I started doing open source, and I don't think it's existing anymore, but I started contributing to open source a long time ago. I think the program has been there for 15 years, but then it ended. So basically, Google Coding used to be a program for people in secondary school. That's basically where I started my journey. So I went from Google Coding, and then I moved to Summer of Code, and then I became a maintainer for a project called Sugar Labs. Like I said, the typical journey of whether you're a designer, you're a programmer, or you're a product manager, or whatever you do in tech, is the ability for you to move from receiving instruction to giving instruction, but also to advocate for things that you love. I'm here today because I went through these stages, and of course, instead of going through random tweet and saying, oh, I want somebody to be my mentor, I want somebody to do this, that is basically what an open source community is. And of course, with DevFest, I'm sure there are multiple local programs out there, which is like the GDG local event. I think there are a few in Lagos. I used to know the one in Port Harcourt. In fact, my first DevFest was in 2016 when I met Prosper and Anedi for the first time. So that's typically what the journey works like. Speaking about early stage career, like I said, this is a very interesting quote, right? You got to be a beginner before you can be anything else. So the fact that you're starting and you're feeling a lot of pressure doesn't mean that you're not going to be an expert. That's just what being an early stage in your career is. And that's why I really love this quote. And in fact that at the end of the day, you should at some point go back and make sure that you become, what they call it these days, 10x engineer. So that's basically what, growing around open source makes a lot of sense. Speaking about contributing, these are some of the steps that, before I talk about this, how many of you here contributed to Oktoberfest? Raise up your hand if you do. I have something to give, but raise up your hand if you do. I want to see faces. If you contributed to Oktoberfest, raise up your hand. Oh, cool. Nice number. Okay, the reason I'm using Oktoberfest is that there are processes that enable you to contribute to open source, which is basically finding the project that you want to contribute, join the community, make meaningful contributions. I always prefer having quality contributions, collaborate, learn, grow, and then of course the last one that I like talking about is go forth and prosper, which is very important. This is very controversial, right? Is it? Is it very controversial? So contributing to community is just as important as making a lot of money. The reason I said so, I just gave an example of Google Summer of Code. And the point is, by contributing to projects, you can easily get hired, and at the same time, you can get a lot of resources. There are a lot of people's journey that I love, including mine, because we're literally in open source, and that gives you the opportunity to make as much resource as possible. And of course, you can translate those resources to a lot of things as you want. Now, during Oktoberfest, people were asking me a bunch of questions. What makes you a great contributor? These are questions that I usually like asking people. But normally, what makes you a great contributor is when you find a project, it is very natural for you to go make research and then come on the project and focus on the task at hand. which basically means that you are taxing less information from the maintainer. And then what makes you a great maintainer is by making sure that when you're working on a project, you are documenting as much as you can so that when someone is coming on your project, they have the ability to understand the code and then make sure that they contribute. And being an open source maintainer for a while, this is one of the hardest challenges because people, when you're on GitHub, you're trying to send pull requests and say, why this guy never made my pull request? What's going on? It's the fact that most maintainers have jobs, but then being a great maintainer is something that is always an extra step. And that's why I always make sure that when you're a maintainer, you should look at yourself as someone that empowers other people. To shine in open source, you basically need the right tool. There's a lot of tools out there, and I'm not coming here to talk about what my company does or why we're here, but it's to basically tell you how we can help you to better further your open source career. So here's this QR code. If you scan this QR code, you're able to see a lot of ways on how SourceGraph can make you become an open source expert. Yes, that's a thing. On open source, what do you call it again, Zev? An open source avocado, right? So by scanning this QR code, you're able to see how SourceGraph can help you. But to give you a context, SourceGraph is a very interesting tool because you basically have all the power you need in one place. Now imagine you have Google search combined with Stack Overflow, combined with a bunch of forums, just in one tab. Imagine that power. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible? Why are you guys quiet now? What's going on? Sapa the owner. What's going on? So just so I make this talk as fast as possible, you can scan this QR code and learn more about how SourceGraph can help you to better, do more in open source. Like I said, as an organization, we're very interested to make sure that we support the open source communities, making sure that projects are sustainable, they can find contributors, but also as a project maintainer, you have the ability to make sure that you know who is contributing. So the recent Oktoberfest that we did, which was a couple months ago, we were able to have multiple contributors around the world. But of course, we're still learning. We're not like Google DevFest or the Google GDG group, but there's a lot of things that is happening here. These are some of the information that you've seen here when it comes to people that contributed to our code base. So basically, as a company, we know that people want to get their hands dirty. And that's why we're making sure that we're pushing things out there that basically help you to contribute to our project. And that could be one of the ways that you can get hired too. Just saying. These are just some of the quotes that people in the community have been talking about, how Oktoberfest have helped their career, and a lot of things that is interesting. And I find this very, very interesting. And over at the sponsors booth there, some of the open source contributors have been able to come and talk about how Oktoberfest and with SourceGraph have been able to help them on their career. You can join our community. I'm going to tell you why this is important after my slide. But if you scan this QR code or you come over to the booth, I'm going to explain why this is important for now. But if you can be able to scan, you can do it. I see I have 1 more minute left. So we have basically something called the Champions Program, which as a company, we support you as an individual to go to conferences, we sponsor your talk, we sponsor whatever you do to be able to make sure that we help you as a developer's advocate or basically talking about a lot of things. So thank you. But before you go, like I said, right, before you go, the reason I'm here is to talk about 2 things. So one is the last year, things have been very interesting because a lot of people have been able to come into coding. But at the same time, it's been a lot of challenges for people due to the pandemic to be able to afford a lot of things. And that's why I'm excited that Odd School is doing the program they're doing as of today. And of course, a lot of you have been asking on the random on Twitter about people sponsoring you. So as of right now, I'm going to say after lunch, or maybe before lunch, I don't know the organizers, I am going to be sponsoring 10% on Odd School if you go over to the booth. That's one. Then for SourceGraph, if you go over to our booth, we have 5 quality headphones to give out. 5 quality headphones to give out. So if you've heard about Sony XM4s, go over to the booth and we will tell you how to do it. So at the end of the day, if you want to know more about Odd School and SourceGraph, please come over to the booth and I'll be able to explain to you more. So thank you very much. I'll see you over at lunch.
Don't hide from me. I'm not here to love myself.
Thank you, Samson, for that. I came back to the store view. Please use the hashtag and tag GDG Lagos to it. The hashtag is hashtag DevFest Lagos, hashtag DevFest Lagos 2021, and at GDG Lagos. Thank you.
In the next few minutes, we're going to be going into our breakout sessions, and we'll have Femi on stage, describing how that would flow. But before then, I'm just going to call up a few people. These are our sponsors, and they're just going to say just one-liners about what they're doing, and they'll tell you where they are throughout the event, and then you can come meet them up. They actually have swags, a lot of it. I saw bags of swags. I'm serious. I'm not lying. They have a lot of swags. So please, let's welcome. This is the first person. Yeah. Get Convoy and Touring. All right. Just 1 minute. What you doing?
Hi. Good morning. I hope we're having a great day, or good afternoon. I'm not sure. So at Frame, I'm Shubomi. I'm co-founder of Frame. We are building Convoy, which is the webhooks technology, open source webhooks technology for everybody. So imagine you are building an API, you are building your own Paystack or Flutterwave. You do not have to build the exact same infrastructure for webhooks. We've built webhooks, we've built Convoy the same way you use Redis for key value storage. It's the same way you use Convoy for webhooks. Meet us at our booth at the back, and we have a workshop afterwards. Thank you.
All right, this is Samuel from Turin. For those that want to get jobs in the US.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel Adekule, and Turin is here. We're here to connect developers to US jobs. So we are built like a talent cloud, where we use machine learning to match you with a job. So we have a lot of jobs for you, for developers here, and our booth is right there. By my right, just come towards the end of the other screen there. So we have a lot of merch. We have notepad, t-shirts, and also you get to ask questions and connect with us. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
I'd like to call on tech experts and GopShop.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Great. My name is Olaiwola Oshoba, and I head marketing at Tech Experts. Tech Experts is a global provider of IT support and professional services. But I'm going to simplify that, right? What we really do essentially is deep technical IT support for some of the biggest companies in the world, right? And one of the reasons why we're here is to be a part of the developer ecosystem, and then to also extend opportunities to join Tech Experts, right, as an organization. We have our booth somewhere there on the right, and for those of you here who might be looking for an opportunity to join the software support space, we're very happy to extend, job opportunities to you. I think one of the value add that I would actually like to, to sell to you is that we take upskilling and reskilling very importantly. At Tech Experts, we're investing heavily in our employees to ensure that they can upskill themselves and accelerate their careers as the case is. So we're super excited to be here, and I will be at the booth there to welcome you guys and extend your opportunities to join us. Thank you very much, guys, for having us.
call him up now.
So this is Gov Shop, everyone.
Thank you so much. My name is Femi. I'm the country manager for GovShop Nigeria, and we are a smart conversation API company. We give you one single API that lets you connect to 30 different channels across, right? And we've been doing this for a long period of time. We've raised $350 million just to make the API easier for every one of you in this room. Now, I come bearing two gifts. The first one is we have enough swags in our booth. Please come over, come see us, come talk to us. The second gift is that we are giving 90% off to businesses, startups that are just starting and needs that level of discount. So please come around. I'll be expecting you. Henry and Indo are waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Please, let's welcome on stage Talent QL.
Hi guys, good afternoon.
Are you GovShop?
My name is Chidi Okoye and I'm with Alt School Africa, right? So Alt School Africa is an alternative to school and we're trying to upskill African talent for the future of work, right? So for DevFest, right, we're at our booth and application today is 10,000 Naira, right? Another thing is a couple of sponsors are in and if you can get there on time, you can actually register for free because someone has actually paid for few slots, all right? So please endeavor to get into Alt School because there's a whole lot of pack coming in from that part, all right? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
Africa's talking.
Please, let's welcome on stage one of our sponsors, Africa's Talking.
Nobody's putting their hands together.
They're angry at us.
Hello.
You're angry.
I'm Dio from Africa's Talking. So at Africa's Talking, we have rich communication APIs that can allow developers connect to customers. So SMS, USSD, payments, voice, and other interesting stuff that you need to connect to the telco, to your end user. We provide all those APIs and a very interesting sandbox that you should check out that allows you to develop all that. We'll also be talking about Ilarian, which is a new interesting product that we've developed, but there's a video that's going to play for Ilarian. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right about now, we're just going to play a few videos. A few videos are going to be playing here. And after that, we're going to take a few photos, eat lunch, and then go into the breakout session.
Need to send or receive money abroad? You shouldn't have to worry about how. What if you could create a foreign bank account instantly? Right from your couch, bed, kitchen, office, anywhere. By signing up for an Abuki Africa Foreign Bank account, you can receive your salary, pay for school, applications, and any other bills. Simply sign up to Abuki Africa and get instant access to foreign bank accounts for free. Your financial freedom is here. Visit abuki.africa to get started.
Can you imagine a Nigeria where startups have access to a one-stop shop center for regulatory and compliance activities? A country where there are tax exemptions and reliefs, a startup investment fund, and a credit guarantee scheme for startups. We hope you can, because all these and many more will be possible with the Nigeria Startup Bill. So, how did the Nigeria Startup Bill come to be? On January 1st, 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari pledged for legislative partnerships to foster enabling business environment that stimulates innovation and scalable economic business models for tech-enabled startups and other industries in Nigeria. This speech paved the way for the Nigeria Startup Bill, a joint initiative by Nigeria's tech ecosystem and the presidency to harness the potential of our digital economy through co-created regulations. The bill's framework seeks to address the gaps that hinder the growth of startups in Nigeria. These gaps have been grouped into four main areas: infrastructure, talent, regulation, and capital. With a favorable operational atmosphere for startups to work, startups can scale and grow into unicorns, which will in turn lead to the generation of more revenue for the country through taxes. This bill will be instrumental in building an effective strategy for the nurturing and incubation of high potential graduates, as well as the development of novice talents. Within the last 6 months, the Nigeria Startup Bill has held town halls, state engagements, learning series, and a roundtable conversation among many other featured events. The bill has currently engaged over 7,000 youths and has got their buy-in, successfully conducted a statewide grassroots campaign in 5 states, including the FCT, to drive awareness for the NSB. To stay up to speed on the bill and its activities, you can also follow the NSB on social media and YouTube and subscribe to its weekly newsletters.
An API is also known as an application programmable interface. At InterSwitch today, the way we understand APIs, or the way we look at APIs, or the way we interpret APIs is as a product rather than code, right? And that's demonstrated in how we sort of categorize our APIs in our API marketplace.
It's a software intermediary. It's a way for two systems to communicate with each other. And InterSwitch is, being the mothership of, payment. We've actually had, a lot of solutions and services, that we've extended to our partners via APIs for quite a long time. The first set of APIs that InterSwitch extended out, date as far back as 2008.
What I do primarily on a day-to-day is I basically manage the API marketplace, provide solutions for our developers, and basically relate with our developers on a day-to-day basis. I want to build, I enjoy this, and let's continue building together. And we will typically share the Slack link. You can find it on developer.interswitchgroup.com. Our community is there. It's free to join. Along the way, we would also be sending our gift packs to our community members as well. And we'll be having events in the coming months. These events will be online and offline, right? We understand the issues with COVID, the pandemic, right? And we are very, very bullish on being safe, right? So we'll have online events, and when the time is right, we'll have in-person events, and we'll take it from there. Pandemic will never stop innovation, and we will continue to innovate, right? So yeah.
So please join the Slack channel. Let's build the future of Africa together.
As the name implies, SEER, which is the future, is 0 and 1, which is connecting the offline and online. So SEERBIT is building the future that's going to connect offline and online in the space of businesses to drive the new directions for commerce in Africa. We are an Pan-African platform that enables fast, secure, inclusive, and ease of payments across different value chains to help local and global business skills in Africa. The big picture for SEERBIT and the vision behind is about connecting the possibilities for businesses, possibilities for merchants, possibilities for customers, either in offline or online segments. We are trying to make sure that these possibilities are achieved by making sure that no customer is disenfranchised in the process of building solutions that will help businesses grow revenue, scale, and become part of the global market. For us, payment is payment. It's the strategy that actually defines everyone's vision and directions in the marketplace for payment. Our focus is actually to empower merchants for a broader reach. And how do we do that? By making sure that everyone is included, both offline customers and online customers, to make sure that businesses can drive more revenue and drive more growth, and also be able to scale. Setting up SEERBIT is very straightforward, it's very simple and seamless. by going to our developer page, which is doc.crb.com, where you have varieties of our payment methods and payment types based on different localities and based on different presence we have across Africa. This actually speaks to different payment methods addressed to different local markets. Our solutions are actually there to actually connect the possibilities out there for businesses that find themselves in different verticals and different business segments. Currently today we're in 10 African countries addressing payment needs in each local market we find ourselves by designing the local needs that is unique peculiarly. And today also we are proud to say we have over 5,000 plus merchants on our gateway today. And we are happy to be contributing our quota to drive the seamless of payments in Africa. Our promise as a brand for startup businesses, scaling businesses, enterprise businesses is using our class of APIs. We help you build your success story. So we invite everyone to actually explore our APIs to build their success story.
Hi, I am James from Nairobi, Kenya. And I am a software engineer with 5 years of experience. I currently work at Turing as a backend developer. I have always been passionate about solving big problems using advanced technology. But here in Nairobi, opportunities for software engineers are less than abroad. So I started looking for a job that would be remote because I didn't want to leave my country. And then I came across Turing thanks to one of my friends. So I signed up on the site, I did some tests and some interviews. The tests and the interviews were quite challenging, but I cleared them. Soon after clearing the tests, I was hired by one of Turing's top customers. The experience of working remotely has been phenomenal for me. I live a much happier and healthier life now. I start my day by going to the gym, I manage my shows, and sometimes I watch my favorite movies. I work for 4 hours in the morning, and now it's time to go for lunch. And from 4 to 8 in the evening, I overlap my working hours with the customer. I feel more productive and creative with this kind of flexibility while working from my home. Turing offers an environment that is intellectually and culturally dynamic. It also provides endless career opportunities that allow you to work with some of the smartest people in the world. If you are looking for remote opportunities that offer a better quality of life, go boundaryless with Turing.